Good morning. Today I'll be presenting 3.1.1 from the IB Computer Science syllabus. This is types of networks. So first, what we shall be looking at is just an overview of the different types of networks that we have. We will not be focusing on all of them. We have decided to condense this into the 3-4 main ones that you can find, both within the syllabus and within the past 10 years of papers. So we have LAN, WLAN, VLAN, SAN, WLAN, Internet, Extranet, VPN, PAN, and P2P. Now, let's move on. Let's delve right into the rabbit hole of what is a network. Now, the definition of a network, as we can see from both the internet, and textbooks, is a group of computer systems and other computer hardware devices that are linked together through communication channels to facilitate communication and resource sharing among a range of users. I've highlighted some of the keywords here being hardware devices and communication channels, but most importantly, resource sharing, because that is the ultimate goal of a network. Now, this is also commonly recognized based on their characteristics. Now, each of these different networks that we'll be going into, each of them have a wide plethora of characteristics. Okay, now the types. Now, there are always different types of networks. So I think the types that we'll be looking at is 4 specific ones, which is local area networks, which is LAN, VLAN, wide area networks, which is WAN, and WLAN, and then also end off with a bit of a special surprise. So, local area networks. Now this is basically, as the name suggests, LAN. So what it covers is, again, as the name suggests, a local area. Typically, a local area implies something small, like let's say an office or like a hotel or a small building. They're quite common in homes now. When you go home, when you connect to the Wi-Fi, when you're connecting to your headphones, your Bose headphones, that's a LAN. And so this is always now possible due to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Whether or not it's wired or wireless, nearly all different types of modern LANs are based on Ethernet. Now, what is Ethernet? It's a set of protocols that we use to exchange data. There are 2 different ways that we can implement Ethernet within our local area networks. Please do take note because it's important. There has been questions on this in the past. We have twisted pair cables, which is UTP, but we also have wireless connections, which is Wi-Fi radio waves, or typically even microwaves, basically the electromagnetic spectrum. Next, we have VLAN. Now, this diagram looks complicated, but let me run you through it. So just to start off defining, VLAN. It is a virtual area, local area network, and what it is you can think of it logically as a group of workstations, or this always works best with the example of an office. So it's virtual LAN. So you have different nodes and you have different devices connected to a LAN virtually. So while they may not be physically present there, they are omnipresent virtually. A VLAN allows a network of computers and users to communicate in a simulated environment as if they exist in a single LAN. Now, when set up correctly, virtual LANs improve the performance of busy networks. VLANs can group client devices that communicate frequently with each other. Now, it's important to note that the traffic among these devices is split across 2 or more physical networks, and it's usually handled by core routers or routers, depending on where you're from. With a VLAN, that traffic is handled more efficiently by network switches. VLANs have a lot of benefits too with their presence. They bring security benefits to larger networks by allowing greater control over which devices have local access to each other. Now, Wi-Fi guest networks, for example, are often implemented using wireless access points that support VLANs. There's 2 types of VLANs, namely static and dynamic. Network administrators often refer to static VLANs as port-based VLANs. In a static VLAN, an administrator assigns individual ports on the network switch to a virtual network. No matter what device plugs into that port, it becomes a member of that specific virtual network. That is static VLAN for you. But in a dynamic VLAN configuration, an administrator defines network characteristics by the membership of it, of the devices rather than, in fact, the switchboard location. For example, a dynamic VLAN can be defined with a list of physical addresses. This is known as MAC addresses. Not MAC like MacBook, but the MAC address. Or network account names. Moving on, we go to the wide area networks. Now, wide. The name is exactly what it sounds like. It's a network that covers an area that's wider than a LAN. That's why wide area networks, wider. Now, beyond that, there is a bit of ambiguity to this because we don't know. The definition is less clear. We don't know if it's a distance that's, for example, a few buildings, or it could be a large town, or it could be a college campus. As far as we know, it could be even a satellite network. For example, Google with their Google Maps satellites. The most important one is the internet. Going back to the MAC address and just saying, why did the MAC address cross the network to get to the other protocol? Now, the most popular one is the internet. We will delve into the internet a little bit later. It is actually a connection of other networks, including LANs and WANs. That's where the name comes from. Now, WANs can be, please do take note of this, they can be wired using fiber optic cables. This was invented in 1930s by Narendra Singh Company. Or it can also be wireless using microwave or satellite transmission technology. Now, we've done LAN.
What are you doing?
Now, what is WLAN? A WLAN is a wireless local area network. Now, it is a wireless distribution method of 2 or more devices.
Oh, that's us.
They use high-frequency radio waves and often include an access point to the internet. A WLAN allows users to move around the coverage area. Now, this means it could be a home or small office, whilst maintaining a network connection that's quite strong. A WLAN is sometimes called a Wi-Fi network, but can also include other technologies. Moving on to our final bit, as we said, it's a special surprise. It's just a bit of coverage on the internet. Haha, internet coverage. So, the internet is a globally connected network system that uses TCP or IP protocols to transmit data via various types of media. The internet is a network of global exchanges, including private, public, business, academic, and also government networks. The whole shebang. And it's connected by wireless, wired, and fiber optic technologies. The terms internet and World Wide Web are often used interchangeably, but they're definitely not the same thing. Please do take note. The internet refers to the global communication system. This normally includes hardware and infrastructure, but the web is one of the services that's communicated over the internet. It's a subset. Thank you. Now I will be asking 2 simple questions just to test your understanding. So the first question is just a bit of retrieval practice. What are the different ways to implement Ethernet? So Selena. Oh. Ruben, what are the different ways to implement Ethernet?
It was copper wire.
No.
It was fiber optic.
No.
By wire.
Yeah, twisted pair cables or wireless, which uses electromagnetic spectrum waves. Second question is quite similar, but it's a bit different. How can WANs be connected? WAN meaning wide area network.
By different,
Ahmed, okay. No, okay, yeah.
different lands.
You didn't answer your question properly.
I should have.
Okay, fine. How do you do it?
Connect 2 different lands together.
Yes, so you use fiber optics or use wireless connections to connect them together. Okay, does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you.